Doug Baldwin. Uh, so happened to come across a couple things. Doug Baldwin, the former uh, wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. Now I don't know if he spent his whole entire career with the Seahawks, but I know he spent majority of it with the Seahawks. But I came across an article a couple of weeks back, and there's been numerous of different articles throughout the years. I think through 2019 with all the different contributions he has made, within the community, well, his community to say the least.
Right.
And one of those things that has come up was um, equality, mental health, and police kind of like um, not police reform, but kind of like police brutality, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I wanted to touch up on, of course, was about because they didn't say anything about the all the others, but it was more about the mental health aspect because another Seahawks legend, Ray Roberts, is doing a mental health uh, podcast version of his podcast, and he brought in Doug Baldwin, and they talked about uh, mental health. But I just wanted to read what was being said, or what he said about mental health. And there was a couple of points I wanted to key out real quick, but there's a lot of stigma around mental health, and really understanding how does that impact you as a human being, and how do you show up for people around you. When my daughter was born, what I didn't realize, I always knew that sometimes women have postpartum depression that they deal with. I didn't know that it was very prevalent for men too. I became aware after the fact. Same here. Same here. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized I was going through some significant mental challenges, both because I was retiring from the NFL. I had been playing football since I was 6 years old. So it was all I knew. So not having that and having this new human being to take care of for about 8 months, I would say I was in a really deep depression. Had a whole bunch of counseling, got an amazing wife, got an amazing family and support system around me. So I was able to come out of that in a healthy way. I believe in a healthy way. But it was really, and I can't understate that, very challenging. He brought up a good point about the postpartum depression, that it can happen to men too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a myth that needs to be busted right now,
Oh yeah.
because men that don't suffer from postpartum depression, that's good. But let it be known that it happens to men too. And that is, I think it's important that it needs to be addressed, not only for women, but for men too. But even though that women carries the burden of it, and how they have to, you know, some of them have to be, single parents, or some are just, married with other kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they still have that problem. They still have postpartum depression. And with Doug Baldwin and how he had to handle caring for, his daughter at the time, and transforming from the NFL to, raising a child, that could bring a big change in your whole demeanor and your whole attitude and the whole way that you approach your routine. So
Ain't that the
now
same way with you?
yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah.
Because at like when I first started weekends only, I had did not have a lead. I was close, very close. I had started at weekends only less than a week. I want to say less than 2 weeks before Leo was born. And transitioning from when she was born all the way up until now, it had kind of changed my depression because of now I am actually having, my regular 2 days off, but I have Aaliyah also. And
Right.
that was a new add-in to the routine. And it didn't depress me because of that. It was just the change that you're going through to actually um to approach this new, part of your life that you're dealing with.
Yeah, change has always been, draining because you got to get used to
Absolutely.
it, and it's hard to really try to adjust.
And that is, and most of the times it's not even really, just postpartum depression. That's everyday life. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? When a new change is being made, everything changes. And that's how it was with me. And then it got worse because I really didn't have time to myself at the end of the day. I didn't have nothing. I had those 2 days and then I go back to work. I had those 2 days with Aaliyah, then I go back to work. It was no time in particular for me to, kind of regroup. So working on this podcast and working on, being at work and, looking at Aaliyah, that is a drainer. It's a drainer. And I'm saying this right now for the people that is in the closest circle to me, that's how the fuck I was feeling. So if you think for 1 second that my ass was sitting up here not doing shit, this is this is it.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes.
Bah. Go ahead.
Anyway. I
Go doing go things. What are you talking about right now?
it didn't catch my attention until I realized what you said. And for a second it was okay. Well, all right. Oh, now I get it. And then it just like
it just clicked.
It just clicked. So yeah, I mean that's the whole process. Like I'm not sitting here, that's why a lot of fathers have to really compose themselves. Hear me when I say this. A lot of fathers have to compose themselves because they didn't want to be a burden to anybody else. Okay. They didn't want to be a burden to anybody else. Now, let me ask this. Do you think Doug Baldwin felt that way? Absolutely. I know he did. You just have to understand that most fathers has busy lives too. And I'm talking to the people that are in my circle. What I do is I do business with my brother. I do business.
By the way, that is me.
Yes. I don't have another brother. I just have him. That's it. A lot of people will go like, well, you may have another, but no, I don't. It's just
That's
him.
true. I would just really just being a smart ass, but
yes, you was.
Now.
Yes, you. Yeah, I know you do now. I know you do.
Oh,
but
God.
I was just making that general point. I was like, I do business with him. I do business with him. Okay. Now, what happens? Just because my asses don't have a job anymore and I'm unemployed, that do not mean I am still a busy man.
Right.
Still a busy man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I still look after Aaliyah. Yes, I do that. I still care for Aaliyah. I do that at the end of the day. But when it comes down to me and trying to work on my projects, work on the projects that me and Darrell are working on, which there's more, this is what I'm doing. You're looking at it right now. As you speak, you're looking at it. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that you're feeling, get out of it. Just get the fuck off of it. So anyway, I had to rent that. That's just the whole case in point with Doug Baldwin. He makes the point that he is making the transition in his life from leaving football to actually now caring for, you know, his daughter. He may have more, I'm not sure. But he has to really, make this transition. He has to make this change. He's making it because number one, this is something that he wanted to do. This is based off, his choices. He wanted to do this. And, you're not gonna be playing football forever either. So making that change and that transition, it can be draining. You have to do a whole new routine. You have to figure out what to do next and all of that. And he's done pretty well. He has made a lot of contributions to the community. So I can't sit here and complain that the fact that, he may not be doing a lot, but he is. So I commend him. I congratulate him for all his success that he's doing so far. But what's your thoughts?
I don't really actually have a whole lot. It's just that, you know, when sometimes there's always this attitude of where women is more busier than men or men's more busier than women, and then there's some other stereotypes that goes on, and it kind of make you wonder, why is it that one person or one sex is trying to make it seem like that they do more than the other sex, and or person anyway. And then it makes you wonder, if that's what they're doing, you know, what what's your goal? What is your intended goal in doing that? Why do you do that? What makes you think that is okay? What makes you think that because, you're out of a job, that you're not doing anything? You never know what a person is doing. The one thing that's always been, said, and the one thing that you and I are always good at is we're making sure that we stay private a lot of times when it comes down to the things that we're doing,
Absolutely.
simply because
Yes.
people really should not know what we're doing based
Mm-hmm.
on what we're doing. And it's not that we're secretive, it's just that you work in private. You let your
Mm-hmm.
results
Show
show.
the work. Mm-hmm.
And that's where most people don't understand, you know, where, like, for example, where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is not something where, this is just a lot of free time for you. This is something where you have to literally sit down and say, I got work to do.
Right.
And a lot of people tend to just think that you're not doing anything when in fact you are.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't
Yeah.
understand that, you just because I have a job and you don't necessarily mean that, I'm dedicated everything to the job while you're just doing nothing. No, me and you have been doing this for 7 years, eight
Yeah.
years in February. So it's something that most people tend not to understand. And when Doug Baldwin going through the same thing and going through some changes as a
Mm-hmm.
father and coming out of the NFL like that, people have to be mindful of him. And it's with
Right.
anybody. It's not just with the males, it's with females too. You're going
Absolutely.
through a change, you got to be mindful of them. You have to be understanding that they're going through a change. They need to make a change and they need to adjust to making a routine off of that change. Otherwise, you're just, to me, what I would call inconsiderate and just ignorant,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I've said this before to you. I've let people break my bond off this podcast. I'm not doing that shit no more.
Mm-hmm.
When that came out, we was off the podcast for what, 2, 3 years, maybe more, and it felt like that we was actually going somewhere
Yeah.
at that time. It actually felt like we was going somewhere, but then all of a sudden, boom, it just stopped. I'm not doing that again. Ain't no way in hell I'm letting that happen again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you just have to show, like you said, consideration.
Right.
If you can't show consideration, then there's nothing else to say.
Right.
Point blank, period.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug Baldwin's in the right direction. He got his wife and his support system. His wife is supporting him, which is very good. It's very encouraging. to say the
No
least.
doubt. Yes.
If you have
Yes.
your wife on your side, or an insignificant other, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, if they have you on your side cheering you on, you are in the right steps. Doug Baldwin has always
Yes.
been in the right steps.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Always been in the right steps.
Yes.
So be mindful of that. But if you have those ones that don't want you to succeed, either find some pity or jealousy, or just don't want you to succeed, you got the wrong one.
Mm-hmm. And that goes for friendships too.
Agree. But that's it for me. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. That's it for Darrell's reactions. Appreciate everyone's time. Before we get out of here, I just want to explain something real quick, just in case the people are confused. Darren's Nose and Darrell's reaction is just a extended portion that we had added from our Double Take Sports Talk. So if you see Darren's Nose and Darrell's reaction, this is more of the double. This is the extended of Double Take Sports Talk. So this is not something new and within, us. It's extended within the podcast because we had it on our segments at first. If everybody was listening or watching the podcast, that's what it was. It was, our normal introductions and whatever else, and then news, Darrell's reaction, Darren's notes, and that was that. So we just decided to take it and extend it because a lot of people was kind of questioning that. So I had to just clear the air on that. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you are. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels on YouTube. We have the gaming content on at the Watch Brothers, and then the podcasting content at Double Take Sports Talk. Like us on I'm sorry, not like us. Follow us on X at DTSC2414 and Instagram, The Watch Brothers. But until then, I'm Darrell. Darrell's right across from me.
Yep.
Catch us next time.